What is up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm JLAG and I'm here with
NBEA.
And this episode is recapping and reviewing Riverdale episode 16, chapter 29, and it's called Primary Colors.
And don't forget, guys, just stick around for the end of the episode because we're gonna recap our roundups, so our MVPs, our LVPs, our best moments, and our best lines. So be sure to stick around for that.
Yeah. So, girl, what do you think of the episode?
I liked it. I really, really liked it.
Very enjoyable.
It was a lot. Like, by the end, I was like, okay, I think I'm ready for it to be done, because I'm
I'm
mentally, I'm
like, I'm done now.
Yeah, like, mentally, I'm like, I feel like there's too much that's happening right now, but
yeah, I agree.
The way it ended off, I was like, oh my God.
My heart dropped.
Oh my God.
Okay, so let's just get right into it. So it starts off with where the last episode ended, which was basically Betty
like
coming
screaming at Chick. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like a slow motion like throwdown.
What did you think of that?
What, the artistic direction?
Yeah, like it was a little like I liked it, but I was like, but it's kind of weird at the same time. It was like slow motion yelling at Chick.
Well, it's also like, I think it also still has, you know, Jughead doing his whole like spiel about like, oh, the girl that was angry and this and this, right? No, or maybe not. I don't know.
No, I think you're right. Like, I think his voiceover is overlaying with that. Right. And it's just her like silently like yelling. And then it cuts into the scene and she's like, I done told you.
Right.
You are not a blossom.
You aren't a blossom.
And he's like, of course I'm not. He's like, well, my question was like, why wouldn't she test it against like the Cooper side?
But I guess like the test was probably like free from the Blossom side, so like they.
Like, oh, true. Yeah, that's a good point.
That's at least my assumption. But like,
I love how she was.
My whole thing is like, why is it taking everybody in Riverdale to get to the point that we've been trying to make from like episode 1?
And I love how she's like, do you understand? You were not here for season 1, so I'm gonna break it down for you right now.
Yeah.
Cooper is Blossom. We are the same. Like, she had to like explain it to him.
She was like, last season,
he's like,
my
okay.
dad.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Like, I feel like this girl has been like on this tip from time, and everyone is slowly being like, oh. Yeah. Hal might not be his dad.
Right. How is like, and like even like with Hal not realizing it, like how did you not get it? Or maybe you did know, but you just didn't.
He never says it in his, and like that's the thing, right? Like, he never says it in his arguments.
Right.
When Betty is literally witnessing her parents get divorced, he doesn't even say it at that point. He's just like, we're gonna split up. Like, at least say, like,
reason, I'm
at
just
least
gonna split up with
say,
your mom.
hey,
yeah.
Alice, I don't know if Hal's my son. Like, you can just like throw it in there,
right.
You know? Like, man didn't even care. He was just angry at the world.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was really, really random and really unnecessary not unnecessary, but I'm just like, where has everybody been this whole time, essentially, is what I was asking this, like, basically this whole episode.
I guess at the end, like, it is her story to uncover, and like, it is her story to kind of push forward as well.
Right, that's true.
So
that's
give it
fair.
to her.
Okay. Fine.
Give her the points.
Give her the points. So yeah, so he basically says like, that's fine, whatever. And this is when we talk to, like, when he talks to Alice, right off the top, no?
Yeah, they
like
go right
downstairs.
They go downstairs. They're like, let me get to the bottom of this.
Like, let me
and then Alice right away drops this huge bomb, like, as if like she's not even saying anything. She's like, oh, no. Hal's not the father of Chick.
Like, don't be
But
silly.
it's like, bitch, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, my dad's not his dad. Like, for 6 months you've been saying he's my brother.
Yeah. And like, literally Betty's supposed to just like swallow and be like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks for the thanks for the update, Mom. Like,
and then Betty's like, but Mom, who? She's like, oh, I don't know. I slept around a lot. She's like, I don't know who's the dad.
Yeah, she doesn't even say anything at that point in time.
Do you believe Alice in that moment?
Okay, well, we have to talk about it by the end of the episode because so much else happens later on where we like get a little bit more uncovering. But yeah, I feel like,
she really did look confused too, though. Like,
well, all she really says is his like dad is not going to be in our lives, right?
Yeah,
that's what
like,
he
basically
says.
Alice is saying it doesn't even matter who the dad is. At the end of the day, he's still your brother. He's still my son. So like, whatever, like, just deal with it.
He still
who cares who the dad is? Yeah.
So and I think, I don't know if I remember, like, I don't remember if I ever said it online, like during one of our podcasts, but I did mention something a while ago, and I said like, maybe Chick isn't FP's son, but instead whatever went down at prom night, whenever, you know, like this whole traumatic thing happened with Alice that we still need to uncover. Like, maybe she was attacked, maybe she was raped, and like he's the product of a rape child. You know what I mean?
Like there could be way more to this story.
There could be so 100%. Much more to the story, and I feel like this episode really like made me feel a little bit more toward that direction.
Yeah, and I think the way she says it, like the way she adamantly says, no, it's not, like, no, like even after when she asks that question, I'm like, whoa, like why is she so like defensive? Like, does she know for certain that it wasn't him? I honestly feel like something else happened.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
And like maybe neither one of her mans, because like maybe at the time Hal and FP were her like linking her up, but like neither one could save her, you know?
Right. Anyway, didn't think we were going to talk about it right at the top of the episode.
Yeah, guys, sorry. Let's get back into it. Because we could talk about phallus all night, realistically.
Yeah, honestly. So we get to the lodge res, and Hal is I forgot that he's running the newspaper still.
He's like so happy.
But he's like running it for them.
I think he still runs it. Like, I think they still need someone to be like the editor.
Like they employed him. Like,
they employ him. No, he doesn't own it. Yeah. Right. But he's still working, and we finally see him actually do work finally.
Like, for one time.
And he's basically interviewing Hermione and asking her like about her run for the mayor,
right,
and like her inspirations in life.
And then like how like turns over to Veronica, who's sitting there with Kevin. I'm like, Kevin, why are you here?
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, are you gonna like run for like school like class president? What's going on? And she's like, we'll see if I have time to like focus on it when I'm like helping my mom out or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. And then one of the most random moments of the entire effing episode.
So random.
Cohen,
so random.
He's like,
what did you think?
He's like, she's like something about like being a housewife, and then he's like,
he was like,
housewife.
He's like, it's all about the housewives, and then she's like, oh yeah, well housewives, bravo. I'm like, what?
Where did
this connection come from?
It was so random. I didn't understand why we were here. I was like, why are we experiencing this right now? In what world did they say like this is a great idea? Like I don't know. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Like,
I don't know why he was
I wasn't mad, but I was just like, but why? Like, is Annie Cohen a big fan? Like, why did you guys feel like you had to throw him into this? Like,
exactly.
But then after, like, I think when like Kevin like glitches out because he's so excited to see Annie Cohen, of course it's him that has to glitch out.
Of course.
Which is such a, you know what I mean? Yeah, like he's so extra again. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. She sort of says it. She's like, thank you for being like the celebrity endorsement. So I was like, oh, okay.
They need a celebrity endorsement.
I guess they need celebrity power. Yeah. Okay, I'll buy it.
Like, you're not running for presidency, like, of the United States of America. You're running for Riverdale, like, in a tiny little town. Like, why does it matter who you're getting endorsed by?
I don't know. It was weird. It was very weird.
Yeah. And what kind of like this is a real question is what kind of dirt do the lodges have on Andy Cohen that he's like,
seriously?
Yeah,
it's so true.
I'm so down for Hermione Lodge to be my mayor. Like, what? You don't even live here. Like, what's your issue? Anyway, so he's there. He starts taking pictures with Kevin. I don't know.
In the background. Yeah, I know. It was so weird. And then it sort of like kind of breaks off, and Hermione's like talking to like Veronica, I think, at that point, and she's like, girl, get ready because everyone's going to hate you at school. she's like, go get some rest, honey, because tomorrow's going to be a big day for you.
Yeah, and it really is.
Basically.
So then it cuts to the Andrews res, and he... Oh, wow. I didn't write anything proper down.
Me too. I'm just like Fred and Archie.
Yeah. So Fred and Archie, all I wrote down is like, but Dad, it's fine. And then he's like, I'm done.
I think the point of the conversation was that Fred is trying to tell him, I am done with like being attached to the lodges. I want my business out of like their business. Like, I don't want to be a part of this whole like Sodale shit.
Yeah.
Get me out. Cut me out of this. I'm done.
Get me out of here, please.
Like, that's basically what he was saying. Archie's like,
he's like, okay, well, how are you going to do that?
Like, how are you going to do that, loser dad?
He's like, see you later. So then it cuts to
the cafeteria.
And Jughead is like, listen, I'm so pissed about what this whole thing is. He's kind of like low-key going in on Hermione. And then he's like...
Yeah, Jughead's going in hard.
I mean,
the whole episode.
Yeah.
He was even going after Veronica, too. I was like, yo.
You're like really rude, but... Whatever. I guess they're officially not on good terms with each other, which is like, I understand. And then he's like, I'm going to go on a hunger strike. And then Archie's like, you're not going to go on a hunger strike. You're always hungry. How are you going to like ever like go on a hunger strike? And then Betty's like, no, we should support him, whatever, it's not a big deal, like
Yeah.
we're gonna let him like do his own thing. And then like if Andy Cohen wasn't more random than Ethel freaking Mugs in this episode, I don't know what is not random.
So we
anymore.
we basically see
like
Ethel like swooping into the frame
yeah.
and holding this ginormous milkshake
Like
from
milkshake
Pops.
from Pops.
And I'm like, oh,
And
no,
she's
no,
like-
no, 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 no.
She's like, for
No,
the
no, no,
crimes
no.
against humanity and womanhood and all that is good
Women
in
everywhere,
Riverdale,
yeah.
I
For all the lactose
sentence
intolerant
you-
people.
Like, why were you coming in so
And like Veronica's just like,
extra?
oh hey Ethel, what's up, girl? Well, I haven't seen you in a long time. And she's just like
And-
holding this ginormous open,
yeah,
like open
It's
lid
open, yeah.
milkshake. And of
and
course,
no one's
no.
worried about what's about to go down. And then she was like, this is your punishment. And then she just like chucks a strawberry milkshake in her face.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Betty and Veronica.
What
in the
did you think
bathroom.
of that? Like, do you think Veronica deserved it?
I don't think so. No, I don't think that it was necessarily like, it's not her fault, right? Like it's not.
Yeah, no.
In this particular moment, Ethel's just coming in for Veronica because she can't like get her like loser dad who like lost his job to like fight for himself, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what his situation is, but like
It's funny
though. What did Veronica do to you personally? She like
If
blows you
anything,
up
she
for one
stood
whole
up for
episode,
you. Yeah.
and she like helped you like get
like
your
fine.
new wardrobe.
She
like,
used your hot tub for like a plan, but like whatever.
yeah, like I thought we
You
were
know?
past that. That was season 1.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I just felt like she was kind of extra in this whole episode.
Very extra.
Um,
And it's funny because like in my notes I was like, okay, she obviously has a car because like how did she leave school to go to Pops? Because we all know when like there's nothing in the cafe, you have to leave school.
Exactly.
So she like
Also-
dipped, went to Pops, got a milkshake, and came back. And then it was funny because like the next scene, Betty was like, okay, but taken that like she went to
She
Pops
went to
and like
Pops
brought a
on it, yeah.
milkshake just to spill it on you.
She's like, damn, that was like a really extra move
Yeah.
on Ethel's part. Like, good
I
for her.
died.
Yeah. So basically, that's what happens in the bathroom. Like, Veronica's like, you know what? Everyone's like entitled to their own opinion, and like this, and this, and like she's kind of like taking it in. She's like kind of taking the shit from people right now. Betty's like, you know what? You shouldn't have to deal with this. This is so stupid. Whatever. And then it cuts to Reggie in the hallway. Your boy Reggie, and he's running for student body president.
Yeah.
So he's putting up his posters, and then he like turns to Veronica, who's coming down the hallway, and he's like, oh hey, I heard about what happened with that shake. I got some of these nuts for you to like
He's
put on
like-
that shake.
He's like,
He's
Veronica, I heard you got a face full of dairy. I've got some nuts to top off that shake. He's such a douchebag. He's such a guy.
They make him
I
such
can't.
a
And his like
douchey
dumbass
douche.
pursed lips when he talks. Like he's such a douche.
You're the one that loves
I mean, I'm
Reggie
saying it because I
Mantle.
love him. I'm literally saying it. I love him. How much of a douchebag he is. It's freaking
You're like,
hot.
I love him. I love everything that he did.
He's funny.
Gave me those
But what did
nuts.
Archie do this episode? Nothing. He didn't make me laugh.
Okay, so anyway, Reggie's pissing her off, and
Yeah,
then she
he's-
goes in. Then she goes into like internalized like dark Betty mode.
Like you guys, you know what happens when like the audio like drifts away and like
Yeah.
it's echoes
It's
and
a-
like all
and then
you
everything goes in slow motion.
Yeah.
then,
And like
you
yeah,
just
she
black
did
out.
she did the Betty hand clench.
Yeah, she did the Betty hand clench, and she goes and clocks him right in the face.
She clocks him
And
so
he-
hard.
and he goes down. Like that was a hard
Yeah.
punch.
Very
it
like
was just,
unbelievable. I'm sorry.
You know, in those moments, I really wish that they like pushed the comic book aspect of it a little bit over the top.
And what, like say like pow?
Yes,
Crunch.
100%. Does okay?
I mean, that's
I
kind of
want to
weird.
know.
No.
If, yeah, I
it
think
would
I'd be
take you
so
out
down
of
for that.
it would take you out of it, I think, in that
I
moment.
mean, I think it's like they're trying to be too real, but also like you always have to be like, oh, but it's just Veronica Lodge. You know
And
what I
like
mean?
the sound that it made, it sounded like she punched like not a face. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it didn't sound like
what sound did it
bone
make?
cracking. It sounded
Oh,
like
okay.
it's like like I don't know. It's like
like a bag of flour.
yeah, like a bag. Yeah, it wasn't like like a bone.
Well, anyway, he goes down.
I don't
and he
know.
gets a-
I
he
never
gets a
punched
big-
anyone.
Yeah, he gets a big shiner on his face. And anyway, that's it. And then it cuts to the Blossom household, and Cheryl's sleeping.
Cheryl's like sketching
Or
out.
she's trying to sleep. I mean, last episode, she basically overheard her uncle.
Yeah, I
and
know.
her-
Like she's right.
Like,
Like,
it
she
may-
can sketch
I
out if she
understand, yeah.
wants.
And so basically, she's sketching out. She thought she hears someone
Like the
trying
doors,
to get into
the
her
knob is
room.
turning. Yeah.
And so she like locks it right away, and then she goes back to sleep. Like she doesn't even. And then
Well,
it
she
cuts to the
locks
next
it, right?
morning.
Like she puts the chair there so like nobody can come in.
Right, but then she just like goes back to sleep.
She goes back
as
to
if, like,
sleep.
Nothing,
Well, like she has school in the morning. She's got to go back to sleep.
Yeah, but then she could have texted Toni. She could have like done something. They could have like put a little extra scene in there.
I mean, I think her and Toni had enough scenes for one episode.
True.
Like, no, I know what you mean, but like they're gonna get their scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
that leads to like the next scene.
It cuts to the next morning, and she's basically like, "So I know that you and my uncle are trying to kill me, but something almost happened at home." And like, what's going on? Like, she basically bold-faced tells them, like, I think something's going down. Can you help me? Because you might be trying to kill me.
I love her face though, because like when Claudius was like, "Don't worry, Cheryl, have some of your mom's like tea." Yeah. She's like, "Bish, what? My mom doesn't make tea."
And then like, Cheryl's face is like scared. She's like,
she's like, "Mom making tea? I don't believe this."
She's like, "That's weird. My mom's trying to cook. Like what?" Yeah. And essentially Penelope does also say, she's like, "No, you're crazy. Like you're like unraveling or whatever."
I'm like, oh my God, what is happening?
I don't, but that's what I'm trying to say. Why does she turn to her parents or her mom even for that kind of advice? Like, well, at that point, what is she gonna do? The one that she's afraid of. She's like, "I'm afraid of my mom."
I know, but she legit has no other family members.
But you don't go to the people who are trying to kill you. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, think about it. It just doesn't make any sense. So anyway, whatever. Then it cuts to the lodge residence, and they find out about Veronica punching Reggie. And so they're like, "Listen, what's your problem?
Like, take it down a notch."
Take it down a notch. And she was like, "I'm trying to just like deal with my shit on my end." And they're like, "No, you need to sit the fuck down and you need to stop like getting into fights and shit. Just like keep your, like, you got to be a good girl." And then she was like, "Okay, fine." So they basically say like, sit the fuck down and just like keep your head in the sand. Like literally, like Hiram Lodge is like, just keep your head in the sand and don't even speak and like just be a good girl because we don't need that kind of drama at school.
Just like lay low and be quiet. And she's like, "Sick. I'm gonna run for president." That was like her next option.
She does the full opposite. So then it cuts to the lounge, and so it cuts to Veronica basically saying, "So I was thinking, my parents just told me to shut up, but I'm just gonna run for president." And actually, even like Jughead said, like, "Oh, is this like your parents' master plan?" And she was like, "No, actually."
She's like, "No, it's all my idea."
Like, brilliant idea. And Jughead's like, "All right, cool, good for you." And she goes in and says, like, "B, you're my like whatever ride or die chick. Can you be my running mate?" And like right away, Betty's like, "I'm so down. Like I'm so good for you. I got you. Like we're gonna vote for you, whatever." And then it cuts to Toni. And girl gets up aggressive. She gets real up in there. She moonwalks and she like flips and like
she moonwalks.
Does a few like twerks and
what
did
you think of her dance? I felt like her dance looked exactly like the Veronica and Betty dance.
I was hoping for the same soundtrack, to be completely honest. Yeah. I was like, I wish they just like paid for the song again so we can watch it one more time.
That dance was ridiculous.
Because I feel like it was like, at this point it's pretty iconic. But yeah, she turned up. She was really aggressive. She turned up,
yeah. And then she had like things on her shoes this time. I'm like, oh my God, she totally upgraded.
Yeah, she had like little pom poms, but she was like angry. You know what I mean? Like, you know how cheerleaders are supposed to be like, yeah. Like Toni was in it to win
I think
that. Virginia, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say?
You want to talk about facial expressions? Let's talk about Cheryl, okay? Miss, I don't let anyone into my squad. Her face, like Toni wasn't even done yet, and she was like, yeah, she made it. Yeah, she's in. Yeah, she's good. I'm like, girl, she's not even done her routine yet. Like, can you wait? You're so horrified right now.
Like, relax. She's so unnecessary.
So then, like, Toni like finishes, and Cheryl's like, yeah, she's good. She's like, I said
she's like, I guess like no one else is gonna top that, so like we're gonna dismiss ourselves and I'm just gonna go.
She's like, inner circle only, bye. First cast members only.
Yeah, it's like what Josie, Veronica, Betty and
then Toni,
and they're like, to celebrate Toni's win, we're gonna have a sleepover. And everybody's like, okay. She's like, see you at 7, bye. And she just like walks away. And then it cuts to Fred and Hermione, and they're talking in his like little like trailer or whatever, and he's like, "You gotta cut me loose, yo. I gotta like get out of this damn contract." And she was like, "All right, well, I'll talk to my lawyers because we're gonna like turn this up." Like,
what did you think about Hermione's face in this moment? Because I was like, why is her face like?
So I know that you keep mentioning this whole idea of like them having this like physical, sexual like chemistry.
Like,
from,
I don't know if it was necessarily
season.
I don't know if it was sexual in this moment, but it was almost like I don't know if it was like a sneaky like, oh no, I can't let you go, or like
Right.
or like, I know who your lawyer is, it's your wife, ex-wife, and so she's gonna come back to town. I was like, it could be that too.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right. The looks are definitely for a reason. I just am not really 100% sure like what her motive is, and like,
because at
why.
first when he was like, my lawyers, I gotta call my lawyer, I was like, oh sick, like he has a lawyer. And then when I saw her face, I'm like, oh wait, his lawyer is his ex-wife. Right. True.
Right. I almost forgot too until she like rolled into the damn thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, so then it cuts to the lodge res, and Archie and Hiram are talking, and Archie's basically like, yo, well listen, Jughead's about to like have this strike.
Hiram's like scared of Jughead at this point.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing that like gags me this entire time is Hiram's literally scared of a 16-year-old boy from like the get-go. So I'm like, you need to check yourself because you are a grown-ass man with lots of money. Just get it done. You literally pop some guy off like for trying to steal your daughter's necklace. Can you not just like end this now?
Yeah, I don't understand why he's so scared of him. It doesn't make any sense.
Because he's the main character in the Riverdale comic book
True.
series. So
Thank you for clearing that up for me. Thank you.
You can't kill him. So anyway, he's like, basically we're gonna have to take care of this. Jughead's like delusional, and I'm like trying to get shit done, so we're gonna have to just like deal with it like adults or whatever.
Yeah.
And Archie's like, and he's also like, Archie, I'm like leaning on you to like try to like figure this out for me too, right? So he's putting a little bit of pressure on Archie to like step up.
Oh yeah, because he's
like,
saying like, I can't get involved as like an adult and a grown ass man in this town. I actually can't fight physically with a 16-year-old kid, so I need you to go do my dirty work for me.
Yeah,
basically is what he's saying.
That's basically what he said. So yeah, basically Hiram lets Archie break this big news to Jughead, and the big news is they're demolishing Southside right now. And so the next scene is them at Pop's Diner, like Archie and Jughead, and they're like, he's like, they're demolishing the school right now. They're supposed to give them 6 weeks. What the F? So he got really pissed off about that. And Archie says something that's very epic and very yeah, actually, why? So Archie says, why do you even care? You were at Southside High for 4 effing days.
First of all, you didn't even have friends. You had friends towards the end of your time there. You were there for 4 episodes. Calm down. That wasn't your school.
It wasn't your school. You weren't even raised there.
Well, I guess he was raised in that area, but right. He wasn't raised in the school.
You weren't born inside a locker. I don't understand why.
Unless he was.
Maybe
considering it's FP, maybe.
Yeah, it's true. And we don't know where Chick came from. Yeah, it's true. So so that's what happens. And he's basically okay, I guess we're gonna be on opposite sides of this whole situation. I'm gonna be on this hunger strike.
Okay, I guess this is the end of our friendship. Cool.
Yeah, essentially. And then it cuts to the Blossom Res, and they have a Dua Lipa New Rules moment, and then it cuts to Cheryl, and
so one of
she's
the things,
glitching out the entire time, right? They're combing each other's hair. She's trying to be calm about stuff.
Before we cut to that scene, in the original cheerleading scene, she does say, haven't you guys seen The Beguiled? Which throws it back to that film where I think they're all sleeping at that house and somebody gets murdered. Okay. So it's something's about to go down in this sleepover scene. It's not going to, yeah, exactly.
Right. And so Cheryl is a little concerned. So she glitches out and gets out of the hair combing line. And she's like, I don't know what's going on. I can't stay here. I think my parents are trying to kill me, or my mom's trying to kill me. I love this part. And Tony's like, yo, are you sure? And she's like, yes, I am, TT. Yes, I am.
No, Cheryl's like, guys, I don't know what's happening in my life. My parents are trying to kill me. And then Tony's like, are you role playing or something? What are we doing here?
And then she's like, no, this is for real, TT. It really is. Tony Topaz. I was okay, stop calling her TT, please.
And it's just girl talk went to a dark level.
Yeah.
Whoa, and then even Betty chimes in. Betty's like, my life is very dark at home. She's like, I hate my brother. And Veronica did Veronica say anything?
No, she was just I feel y'all. She's like, my life is kind of hard too, but I can't talk about it. And
I was damn, all we ever talked about growing up was getting drunk at an event and seeing
and cute boys.
Exactly. Not my mom's trying to kill me right now in my house. Can you guys sleep over, please? My brother's trying to kill me too.
So that, and then the best part about that whole situation was like, not only did they bring up like the most savage moments of their lives, they're all just like, okay, let's go to sleep now.
Let's all sleep peacefully in this house.
Didn't resolve anything.
No.
They just all went to sleep. So sure enough, everybody else has to sleep on the
I
floor.
love how everyone is literally shouted to the floor.
She has this gigantic
And
like California
she has
king
this
bed.
huge bed, and I'm sure there's like bedrooms in that house.
Yeah.
And of course, Cheryl and Toni are like in the bed together.
Snuggled. So then she's like, you know what? I didn't even want to. She's like, I didn't want to invite her to these bitches.
She says it straight up. I effing died. She like
so-
turns to her, but she was like trying to be so coy and like so romantic. She's like, hey, you know what? Honestly, I didn't want anyone else to be here. It was just for you. Tony's like, yeah, true. I booked it. Like, don't worry.
Then we're about to get our very first and only CHONI kiss.
What did you think about that whole scene?
I thought it was fine. I'm not joking. I know that we're just laughing about it, but I don't think that they resolved exactly what was going on.
No,
these girls just like passed out as soon as it happened.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand why these cutscenes are like, okay, let's have an important conversation after the fact that you guys are like scared for your lives, literally scared for your life. Yeah, but then it gets cut short because they hear a crash outside the door. And sure enough, we get the moment that we saw in the promo. It's like a slow motion.
And like you hear Cheryl's cry before like you see her hair flip.
You see her face.
So basically,
And-
like she runs out, and then all the girls like run out,
Right.
and they look down, like from the what's it called,
the
upstairs,
top part, the banister or whatever.
and they see Nana like KO'd on the floor.
KO'd.
She's like TKO. Her eyes are closed too.
I mean, we shouldn't be laughing, but we know she's alive, so it's a good
so
thing.
mean,
It's
yeah.
not a bad thing. So anyway, so she's fallen. She's like passed out or whatever, and the ambulance comes and they're like, well, it's a good thing that she's still alive. It's like kind
She's
of
still
a
alive,
miracle because
yeah.
she like pretty much could have fallen and died because like it was a pretty hard fall. And Cheryl starts glitching out. She's like crying and like
Cheryl's
Tony's
like
beside her.
crying, and Toni looks at her and she's like, "Girl, are you okay? Like your Nana and stuff?" She's like,
Your
"No." She's like, "Why is my uncle wearing my dad's PJs?" I'm like, yo, your Nana's like TKO. Like, why aren't you worried about that?
Well, now she's feared for her life. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
She's like,
because like they
like,
took her down.
my dad is not my dad. My dad is my uncle's twin. Like, I don't know what's going on, and they're trying to kill me.
Is there a
She's freaking
possibility that like he actually isn't Claudius and he's like Clifford the whole time?
So we've had a few like rewinders actually mention that and say like maybe that's a theory, and I'm like,
Especially because
no.
she did talk about his PJs. Like she was like, "Why is he wearing my dad's PJs?" Like,
yeah, but what else would he be
it's such
wearing?
a random. Yeah, but it's such a random thing to add in the script. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I just feel like, why would he pretend to kill himself only to come back to life?
So he can get away with everything that he did.
To get away with what? Oh,
For killing Jason and having a drug business.
Right.
Basically the entire season 1 plot. Basically.
You're like, I'm like, why did you do that? You're like, because he wanted to get away with murder, literally.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's how I guess that's one way to do it. Like come back as your long lost twin.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it was just weird. And also I just feel like if that's the case, then like Penelope had the weirdest storyline of all time. Like,
I
what
mean,
the
this
fuck
girl
is
is a train wreck at this point.
Yeah. So anyway, the question that I put down when in my notes while I was like writing stuff down was like, do you think that Cheryl is paranoid, or is it like actually like, do you think that they're maybe like throwing her a surprise party? Like, do you think that
I mean,
like,
if you watch the end of the episode, I definitely don't think they're pranking her. So there's that.
fair point. Touche. So then it cuts to the Andrews residence, and Molly Ringwald, welcome back
Molly
to
Mama.
Riverdale. She comes through, and finally, like, she does work. She puts in work when she needs to put in work as Fred's lawyer for this case.
Yeah,
right?
she's like, I'm back to help your dad get away from like the lodges.
The best part about it is like she literally like gets called up at like the most like
She's like on
perfect
speed.
time.
Yeah, she's on speed
Yeah,
dial.
she's on
Like
speed dial.
she must not have a life.
But at the same time, I'm just like, yo, why don't we like use her as like a regular lifeline, just like as a mom, maybe?
Because
Like,
they can't. Well, you know
could
what's
she
interesting that
not
you're
be,
saying
like,
that
a
because
mom?
I felt like in this episode finally we got to see her as like a mom.
Yeah.
And like you really see that in the moment where she walks in And then like Archie is like almost out the door. He's like, well, I gotta go, like Veronica's calling you, or like I gotta go see Veronica. And like she kind of rolls her eyes, like she's like, ugh, like what, he's so whipped. You know, like my son is so whipped. And then like as like Archie leaves, like they both, like Fred and her, like shake their heads. So I'm like, we definitely do get to see her more in like the mom role this episode, kind of reacting. And I love what she says like later on in the episode. Like she definitely like, yeah, she's definitely the mommy.
So she comes in and she's like, I'm here to save the day, whatever, let's get to business. And then it cuts to school, and Veronica has set up like a cupcake / like kissing booth.
Yeah.
To like help
for president.
So then Ethel like walks in, and then she like turns a corner, and then Veronica chases her down, and she's basically like, hey girl, hey. And then Ethel's like, yo, you just like lost all the girl votes because you're like bringing sex
She's
into
like,
this whole
you're
situation.
Sexualizing the election. She's like, I can't even vote for you.
And so then
Veronica's it's like, are you even a vote? You weren't even here last week, or for the last 10
like,
episodes.
where have you been this whole time? So then she's basically like, listen, I don't care about anybody else's vote. I only care about one. Wink. And she's like, I know we were only friends for one episode, and I used your hot tub.
And Ethel was like feeling it. She's like, hee hee.
Yeah, I mean, she was fake feeling it.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But she's so basically, she's like, I know that we're friends, and like I kind of like went MIA right after like season 1, but here I am, and I want to be your friend again. I'm gonna get your dad a job. Like, is that cool? And Ethel's like, we'll see. And so she kind of just like moves on, and like Veronica's like, I'm nailing this bribery gig so well. She's like so proud of herself. Then we have like the secret like Serpent Society of like Riverdale.
Serpent Society.
I don't know. And then Jughead. So Jughead is like pissed.
He's going off as usual.
He's going off so hard. And this is the part that always kills me, is like Jughead is like, this is injustice. This is so messed up. This is like the heart of like Riverdale. Like everything's the heart of Riverdale for him. Like Pop's Diner is the heart of Riverdale. Southside High is the heart of Riverdale. Like, yo, relax. It's like not really that big of a deal.
Everything in Riverdale is yours. We get it. Yeah,
and it's literally like Toni even says it. Like when your own girl is telling you like it's actually not that big of a deal. Like maybe
because I feel like everyone else is living their life. Yeah. Even like the other guys like having fun. Toni's like getting it in. Like she's going to sleepovers like every night. Like she's having fun.
Jughead
she doesn't want to be a part of
like
this.
Incessantly miserable. Like I don't understand why he's so turned up about it all. And he's like, no, we gotta get it together. Who wants to go to war? Bro, you're 16 years old. Why do you gotta go to war right now?
Go to school. How about that?
Go to school and learn your life. Like I don't understand why you have to turn up while everyone else is just sitting there being like, we need to assimilate because everybody used to hate us.
And like I wish
I understand what the issue is.
I wish they pushed the serpents a little bit more in that way, because like it does always feel like it's just Jughead. It does feel like he's just this crazy mofo who's like doing all these things and no one else is really listening to him. But then
him being like, we're gonna go to war now. So then it cuts to Pops, and Archie and his mom
and son time
are having like a conversation, and then she's like, you know, I know that you've been hanging out with the lodges a lot. Like, are you good? Like, don't forget your roots, essentially. Like, that's basically the conversation that she's having, right, with Archie.
Yeah, he's like, you know what, Mom? I am trying to do something better for the down, and like he's so cool.
I love that you make him sound like that, because he does sound pretty stupid.
He's like, he's so cool, Mom. Yeah. Okay. She's like, okay, but like, just like don't associate yourself all the time, and like don't like link yourself up like with
them. And don't forget like where you come from.
Don't forget like who you are.
Your dad is literally fighting the opposite direction, so maybe like check yourself. You know?
And like it just sounds like she doesn't like Veronica. Like she definitely every time he said her name, she was like rolling eyes. Like she was
remember how much like frustration she had when she saw Hermione in the was that Alice that she saw in the bathroom at the prom that one time?
Yeah, that was Alice.
Okay, whatever.
Like technically the mom, like technically Archie's mom and Hermione never really fought, because like even in the first episode or whenever there was a dance, like they double dated with Fred. So like she doesn't feel no ways, but I'm sure seeing her son like fall for this girl, it's like pissing her off.
But why? If there's no like
because they're controlling him.
Then, yeah,
because they're still controlling him, right? True. Like,
but then why? Yeah, and I guess this is her like know yourself speech. She's like #know yourself Drake lyrics.
Right.
So he doesn't, because he doesn't know himself, because he's a 16-year-old
He's like, Mom, this food is so good, I don't even hear you.
And so it cuts to the Cooper res, and Betty comes home from school, or she just
every
comes
time
home.
this girl comes home, I'm like, oh God, what is she gonna find?
She can't turn
Who's
the
gonna be
corner.
on the couch?
Yeah, she can't
Who's
turn the
gonna
corner
be
and
upstairs?
who's gonna be murdered on the floor? Like, who knows? So then she turns the corner, and sure enough, she hears Chick like laughing and giggling in the kitchen.
Hey, you're so cute.
So then it cuts
Kiss me. Like, what the F? Is this Kevin right now, honestly?
That's not what happens, but yeah, essentially they're like about to bake cookies or something, and sure enough, it's Kevin talking to Chick, and Kevin basically baits her out the entire thing.
I was so mad at Kevin.
Were
I was
you?
so mad.
Yeah,
what a loser. Why would you say that?
But here's the thing. I feel like Kevin is like that wholesome character. Like, he doesn't like to lie. He doesn't like to be diabolical.
You're being wholesome, but like, you don't even know this person, Chick. Like, this girl's been your friend from time.
Yeah,
like, what's your business even going and contacting him again? Like, how did you guys even find each other again?
Out of it.
Like, it was just so extra, and it was such a shady thing to do as a friend. Like,
yeah, I agree.
And her face was like, what the hell?
She like literally looked at him like, what the F, Kev?
She's like, get out of my house. He's like, are you actually kicking me out? She's like,
yeah. Hell yeah. So he leaves, and then she like turns right on Chick, and she was like, listen, douchebag, don't come for my friends. I'm so pissed off at this. And then she said, like, does she say something about like, you're trying to fill a void? Or does he say that to her? Like, he's like, I don't know what's going on here, but like, you're trying to fill a void.
Yeah, like, we're the same. You're trying to fill a void just like me.
And then she was like, you don't know my void. She's like, you don't even know my darkness. Let me go get my wig. I'll be right back. She doesn't say that, but she like did.
She's like, no. She's like, you don't know my darkness, but you will.
Yeah.
And then like the beat drops. I'm like, oh my God. This is scary. No, she was like legit scary though. She was scaring me.
She's pissed. So this is the question anyway, I'll ask it later because it has to do with just like Betty like going completely unhinged.
Betty in a black wig.
Yeah, but like Betty like turning crazy basically. So then it cuts to
she's not crazy.
The cheerleaders, and they're having like their stretch
another practice.
And then Veronica and Josie are just like teaming up and stretching together, and essentially Veronica's like doing her like mini campaigning on the side, and she's like, hey Josie, how's it going? I know I ruined your parents' relationship, but do you want to like be my like celebrity endorsement?
Yeah.
Like,
and Josie's like, do we even talk anymore though? Like, yeah, we're not friends.
You literally stole the Pussycats from me.
Yeah.
And you ruined my parents' relationship. So
like, I didn't steal them. I just borrowed them, and then I gave it back to you, but they didn't want you back.
So
she doesn't say that.
And then she's like, hey, do you like Andy Cohen? Because like we're
again
like
I was like what,
like what
he's still here.
What kind of plot line? Yeah, he got like stopped over in Riverdale.
She's like whoring him out to like everyone.
So then it cuts to the lodge residents, and they're arguing about the contract. So essentially like Molly's like trying to get her man money, and she's like, listen, we're not going to take this. You guys are crazy. I can't believe you guys were going to like undercut him in the first place. You're going to take 20%, blah, 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 blah. Like, I know all the details of the contract. So then she's like, she's like going in, and then Hiram in the middle of that whole argument gets a call, and right away he calls Archie because he's like, what's happening? And so then he calls Archie right away, and Archie's like going home from school or whatever. And he's like, you need to check this ish out. And then it cuts to Archie going to check out what's going on at Southside. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, Jughead is literally chaining himself to the property with a bunch of his like Southside friends. So that was his big plan.
The war, yeah.
The war has begun. And Archie's like, oh boy, you're gonna get into it. And Jughead's like, yeah, what, bitch? And then it cuts to the Cooper res. And Betty went crazy once again.
Yeah.
Like, what did you think of this moment? So
I loved it. I loved every minute.
Really? So Betty,
yeah, because she's crazy AF, and it's amazing. Look, she's being honest. This guy's a weirdo. Shit. What the F is he doing in my house? If you had a weirdo living in your house too, you'd do the same thing. I would
not hold a Zippo lighter.
But like, like I just didn't understand like what's her purpose? Like what are you gonna?
Like, what was the purpose of her like literally holding it up to
flame?
His, like,
yeah, like are you gonna set him on fire? Like what are you gonna do?
Like, and also like he wasn't flinching, so he's obviously a heavy sleeper. So like maybe don't try.
She kept like holding it.
Like she was like, am I like, maybe she was there for an hour. We don't know like when the commercial break cut. You know what I mean? So
True.
she could have been there for a bit of time until she didn't even shake him. Nothing. She just like expected
and like
him to wake up.
It would have been
eventually.
different if like she used matches, because like at least with matches you could smell like the like the
the
burn.
fire.
But like she's using like a Zippo gas lighter. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't smell like
I
anything.
didn't get
It's
it.
just like
I
hot
didn't get
air.
it. Like I did.
Like it was just
hot air.
random.
Yeah. So essentially, he finally wakes up and he's like, "The fuck are you
He's
doing
like,
in my
"What?"
face? Like, why are you like holding a lighter in my face?" And she was like, "Listen, I killed so many people in this town."
Yeah. She's like, everyone from season 1 and half of season 2, I ended. Okay,
So,
they're dead.
Yeah. 'Cause
So
they're
just
bad
that's your
people.
warning.
Yeah. And then she's like,
And
I'm
so
gonna
it's
get
this
you.
lighter.
Yeah. And so then she just disappears and he's like, the fuck, I'm just trying to sleep here. In this moment, did you start to side with Chick just a touch?
No.
No?
No.
Really?
They're look. They're trying to make him look shady. I get that. I don't believe that he's evil.
Right.
But I still love what she's doing because she's protecting her family. Like
But why? But how are you protecting your family by?
she's
doing
trying
what
to
you're
scare
doing?
him. She's
that's
trying to
not
scare him like he was scaring her,
But like he was just making like weird faces. She's literally holding a
which
fucking
is very
lighter to-
scary. Okay, but what he does
holding-
after this is really messed up.
Oh, you think so?
Okay,
we'll
yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about it after. So then it cuts to the next morning, and like literally that's the thing. Like you see like this bipolar moment where she's literally going crazy with this lighter, and the next morning she's like, "Oh hey guys, how's the protest going? Is everything right? Do you guys need sandwiches?"
She's like, I brought coffee. Everything's good.
I
I haven't slept all night.
like she's so unhinged, but she's like trying to still like keep that like ponytail tight.
But it's interesting, isn't it?
It's interesting, but like
you have
also,
to
like,
tell
who
me
does that?
her
Who does
character
that?
is way more interesting at this point than Jughead is. I'm sorry.
I mean,
Like
anything's
yes,
more
she's on
interesting
a
than
she's
Jughead
on a
at this
mission.
point, but-
Like yes, she's crazy. Yes, she's probably losing it. But like I love watching it because it's entertaining. Do you know what I mean?
I
Whereas
will say-
Jughead's journey has been very like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm over it. Like it's
I will
boring.
say there was a moment that happens later on between her and Chick that makes me feel like things are gonna get a lot better between the two of them, and the dynamic is gonna get a little bit more believable. But right now, it's just like Betty is too much. Like it's this episode, she like kind of like went a little too far, in my opinion. But anyway, we're gonna obviously disagree about that because. Anyway, we'll talk about it later. So then it cuts to Josie and Veronica at school, and they're holding like some type of concert. And
like a mini concert.
yeah, in the middle, and it's not even in the gymnasium. It's like in a tiny like.
It's
chapel.
like a next
Like,
room. Yeah. It was like a next like side room or something.
I have no idea where it was, but it definitely wasn't the gymnasium. And so she's like, hey guys, like Veronica's cool. Like I'm just gonna endorse her right now because she's gonna get me on Andy Cohen's show. So like we're good to go.
And like, did you notice how like she kept saying like all women need to vote. Females are like gonna be empowered to vote this time.
Right.
And I was like, okay, like I know what you guys are trying to do
Feminism.
because it's
Hashtag
2018. I love it, but also
Right.
like no.
But why?
They're not, I don't know. It just sounded weird. Like
She's
you're
like,
in high
feminism,
school.
feminism,
Like all the
feminism.
females need to vote for high school president.
I mean, they make it seem like they're like
They're
that
trying to
Reggie's
connect
like a
it, so it's like
total-
yeah,
but they're
it's
also
true.
like
It's
trying
true.
to make Reggie out to be
But
like this. Like don't vote for him because he's
You're
a piece
right.
of shit, you
You're
know?
right, and I wish they focused on that more.
Right.
They should have spoken about like that and how maybe he treats women and who like. Do you know what I mean? Like they could have linked
Yeah.
it, but like they don't really.
Because they don't want to take him down that hard because he didn't like do anything that bad.
True,
like,
true,
He was just
true.
making fun of like D's nuts. You know what I mean? Like
He's not.
she just like took it too far. You know what
Whatever
I mean?
happened with her and Reggie? They didn't even finish that storyline.
Yeah, they didn't. Like that's what I mean. This show's all over the place.
It's literally all over the place.
So then it cuts to, I mean, who knows? Because what happens next is basically Ethel goes through all of like, you know, the aisles and she starts handing out a freaking flyer.
Yeah, so like
And-
in between like Josie and Veronica singing about suffrage.
Yeah. That's essentially the
Suffering till suffrage.
song. Yeah, so extra.
And they're basically singing like our entire American history class in like one in one verse, and I was
She's
like, oh, thanks guys.
In 1913.
Yeah.
there was a
She's like, she
protest.
came
Like,
there and then she saved everyone. I was like, oh, true. I remember that. Yeah, and then like Ethel walks in and I'm like, oh no,
Yeah,
here this
here it
bitch
comes.
be. Here this bitch be. She's holding some papers.
And scene 2. So then Ethel Mugs rolls in and she's like handing out flyers, and on the flyer it's basically like Veronica's face and like all these like.
Did you pause it to see what they said?
No, I think I had enough time to see what like was said, but like yeah, the main one that was focused on
There was nothing really that bad.
Well, the one that Betty gets mad about is the fact that it says like Betty or Veronica knew about the prison like switch out.
Right.
Like, she knew about Southside closing down.
Yeah.
Before it actually happened.
Yeah.
So that was the one that like Betty like stood up and
Cause,
she
like,
was like, the fuck? And she
yeah.
like walks away.
Yeah.
And then like the whole like concert ends and like she has to like run after Betty.
And
right?
Veronica's like, yeah. And Veronica's like, wait, Ethel, like, wait, I thought we were friends again. She's like, nah, bitch. She's like, we're done.
She was like, that
and
was
then,
the stupidest bribe of all time. Like, you're half-ass bribe. Go shove it up your ass, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, she basically
and then Veronica's like, yeah, but where did you even get this information from? She's like,
Yeah.
don't worry. And then by that point, like,
she's like, but it's true though, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you
and then
ain't
Veronica
denying
like
it.
dips. Exactly.
Yeah.
She's not denying it at all. And
Right.
then Veronica dips, and Archie's like cleaning up after her. He was like grabbing the papers from people.
I didn't even see that.
I'm like, he's such a loser. And then
I mean, he's being a good boyfriend.
And
but
then-
yeah, then the gag is
that Josie was the one that spilled everything to Ethel.
twist.
Josie
And
was
she
like,
was like-
thanks, girl, for telling me all those secrets. She's like, yeah,
She's
no
like,
problem.
Us girls gotta stick together because Veronica's not a woman. Like,
Yeah, I was like, but wait, isn't
I was
Veronica a
like,
girl too?
isn't
Like,
Veronica a
what?
girl too? Why are you
Is that like a next storyline?
like the song is over, Josie. You can let it go now. You know what I mean? Like we don't have
That's
to talk
what
about
I
suffrage
mean.
anymore.
Like, she's
It's just about revenge at this point. So yeah, so then Betty and Veronica like run to the bathroom. Betty's like, yo, I can't believe you're doing this.
Do you feel like
And-
Betty was a little dramatic in this scene?
You know what? I think that like she had a lot of good points though, because at the end of the day, we like clocked it to when it was all happening and going down. Every single moment where like Veronica had a choice to make in those episodes, it
It's
would
true.
like it cut to like a scene of her being like, oh boy, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep this a secret.
Guess I'm not gonna see anything here.
I guess I'm not gonna tell
You know,
anybody about this. You know,
When I first saw that scene, I was like, "Hey, Betty, you're being like really over dramatic. She
Right.
didn't do anything that big." But then when like she made her points, I was like, "Yeah, it's true." Like, cause how Betty sort of relates it back is like, "I don't trust you anymore, though. Like, yeah, you want to run for pres now.
Right.
I definitely can't be like your running mate anymore because I don't
Right.
trust you."
I think that's
And
the
I think
bottom
that's
line.
exactly what it comes down to, right? Like,
Yeah.
doesn't really matter what you were lying about. It was like you lied though. Like, you could have
Yeah.
just told me or like
right.
not blatantly lied to our faces.
So then it cuts to the lodge residence, and Hermione basically goes right off the top. And she's like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Like, we
I
told
heard
you to
what
stay under the
happened.
radar.
Yeah, I heard what happened from like Principal Weatherby. Like, why we told you not to like run for president, and literally like that's what you did.
She said something like, maybe if I'm their president, they'll stop looking at me like I'm the daughter of criminals.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God.
And then like Hermione kind of has a close up like crying a little
Like
bit.
emotional face. Yeah.
Emotional moment. And then she's like, we need I feel like we need protection to feel like, you know, like we're protected from like the things that are coming for us. Like basically the entire town is coming for our entire family.
Exactly.
I need something that makes me feel like we're not.
Right.
But like, what did she mean by that? Did she mean like she needs to
I
run,
guess
like,
because like
running for president is going to like make that better? Like, I don't.
maybe she means like running for president will allow her to do good things, and in turn it's like we're getting shot down, but like at least I'm doing something good for the community or like the town, so it's okay.
Wow, she got so like.
Or did she mean it
high-minded.
like if I'm president, like I'm untouchable?
Yeah.
But I didn't
wasn't
really I didn't take it
sure.
that way. I was like more like she wants to do good because she feels like they're doing shady shit.
Right.
You know what I
see
mean?
You're saying. Yeah. But like, if she knows that her parents are doing shady-ish, then why is she still going along with it?
Exactly.
Like, just say no. Like, even Betty says it in the bathroom. She's like, you could have rejected everything your parents were
Right.
doing. Instead,
Or if you
like,
didn't reject it, just tell me then. Like, don't lie to my face
so we
about
can
it.
figure it out together or
Yeah.
whatever. Anyway, yeah, I don't understand. And like, that's the thing. We've been talking about her character in the last couple episodes and how she's become really unlikable. Did this kind of like turn for you a little bit? Did this like
No,
help you
I think that
feel-
moment. I think that moment like it made me like her more.
Okay.
Because I see this girl who's like really struggling and holding on to feel like she is doing good for the town. But I don't know. I feel like her family's pull is way stronger.
Right. Well, they literally said like stick your head in the sand. So like
I think the most interesting twist that can happen at this point is if she somehow pulls herself out of this world, like that her parents have set her up in.
Right.
But in the process, like Archie loses himself. And so she's able to get herself out, but he's sort of like the sacrifice. And like that would be a really, really interesting storyline to like write with. Like, and
I think you have something going with that. Anyway, we'll talk about it at the end of the episode because I have a theory about that too. So then it cuts to the Cooper res, and essentially Betty comes home from school. Like you said, every single time she walks through those damn doors,
seriously, you never know
something's gonna come for her. So Alice is like, "Yo, you're actually crazy though."
Literally, all you see is Alice's hand holding the black wig,
waving this fucking wig around the black wig. And she's basically like, "Yeah."
But then the convo got really weird.
Yeah,
so it got really freaking weird.
So then, well, first she goes in and says, "Listen, what were you doing in your brother's room, holding a lighter, like a Zippo lighter to his face? Like, are you crazy? Yeah. What the hell's going on?" And like Betty's like, "Yeah, and what?" Like she's getting all like defiant or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Chick is like, "Yeah, you're crazy though, because like look what I found in your drawers."
Because I think she calls him crazy. She's like, "No, he's crazy." He goes, and then he's like, "No, you're crazy too. Like, look what I found in your freaking drawers."
Yeah. And so basically she's holding up like the wig, and she was like, yeah, about that. So then
and Alice is like, "Is this really yours, Betty?" She's like, yeah.
And then Chick's like, she used it to fuck Jughead. Like she basically like
so
right off the top.
Weird.
I was like, whoa. This got really like gross. And
it got really gross and it got really like extra. Like I felt like Chick was so extra in this moment. Like,
but here's the
why
thing.
You gotta bring up her sex life? Like,
well, here's the thing. The thing that like really kind of like got me in this moment, funnily enough, is when that started to happen where he kind of like threw it and she was like, "How did you even know that?" And he was like, "I just took a wild guess." It was almost like they had an actual sibling moment. Was that weird of me to think that?
No, you're right. No, I felt that too.
Like it was almost this look that Betty gave him, like this like smirk, like, "Wow, you little bitch," but like also like, "You're my older brother, so like I would have." Yeah,
like you're telling mom on me. You're telling mom. Exactly. Like it's true. It's that whole dynamic.
Right. So like,
but like it was just a weird
like,
conversation.
Not mad at it, but yeah, of course.
No, it was
about,
freaking
like, her
weird.
Sex life, so like kind of gets.
And then Alice like glitches out too, because Alice is like, "What? Like you and Jughead are like doing it?"
So she like lost her mind.
And then they have like a whole side convo while like Chick is just sitting there.
Right.
It was so weird.
So that was the part that kind of really like threw me off, because she had a very extra reaction to finding out that Betty was sexually active. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Sexually active.
Is that the right word? Is that the right
No, they're just having sex. Like that's it.
Yeah.
But
she's like being
she glitches out. Like
active.
she really glitches out, and she's like really hurt.
And so the first thing that came to my mind, because I'm like a phallus shipper at this point, was like she's becoming so pissed because now she can't be with FP. Because like she was.
No, that's not how I saw it at all.
Oh, you didn't see it that way at all?
I saw it completely opposite. I saw someone who is so scared of what like these Jones men do to them.
Right.
And she was like, "My daughter can't go through the same thing that I went through with him."
Like heartbreak.
Or like a baby through sex.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Oh, you think it's like the baby?
No, you're seeing it. You're seeing it because like she doesn't want Betty to hook up with Jughead because then she can't hook up with FP.
Yeah,
is that why? I mean, yeah, that's like the best reason. But what I'm seeing is, I think she's relating it to like. She says it after too. She's like, "I made mistakes at your age too with FP.
Right.
Like probably they got pregnant. Who knows?"
I mean, according to her, that's how it happened. Anyway, we'll talk about it after. We'll literally talk about it. But
that's how I interpreted it, at least. Like I took it as like, don't do what I did kind of thing.
Right.
You know?
Right. Okay.
Not that I can't screw FP now that my daughter's screwing Jughead.
Look how crazy these like writers are making us. I'm trying to like, I just want phallus to happen real bad.
I think the thirst is just so real with phallus. So we're like becoming deluged at this point. We're like grasping at anything. Which, by the way, I just want to say right here that we were totally lied to this episode because Skeet Ulrich and Madchen both tweeted and Instagrammed that there was about to be some hot ass scene between the two of them,
like back
and
against
nothing
the wall
happened.
Moment,
nothing
and, like,
happened.
It didn't even happen. So
nothing.
Totally
lies.
Unfair, rude, so rude. So then it cuts to Jughead and FP, and like Jughead is the only one who like stayed behind, I guess, like to like do this protest in the middle of the night. All of his like buddies like dipped for the night. And so he's like sitting there, and FP comes over with like a Pop's like diner like burger, and he's like, yo, like you're not gonna get crucified, just like take the burger and eat, whatever, it's not a big deal.
Oh yeah, because on top of all of this protest, he's also starving himself.
Yes, he's having like a starvation protest. So then he talks to him a little bit, and he says something that's like, once again, everyone in the world of Riverdale is saying like, Jughead, it's not that big of a deal. His dad is basically like, we'll have a condo, like we'll actually live in a proper place. And then Jughead's like, womp womp. He's like, but it's gonna look over like a high school.
Yeah,
that used,
FP's like
prison that used to be my high school.
FP's like, you know, I spoke to Hiram. Like, he said he's gonna build like a penthouse. We can live in it with your mom and your sister. Yeah. And then like the camera like pans over to Jughead. He's like, just imagine me standing on that balcony looking over that place, the prison. I'm like, oh my god, you're such a Debbie.
Why are you so upset about Southside getting burned? Literally, there were metal detectors because people were getting shanked in the hallways. Like, I don't understand why you're fighting for the shittiest high school of all time.
And he's like, Dad, what's gonna happen when like Jellybean wants to have a career? She's gonna have to work in the prison. It's like, no, she can go do something else. Like, what?
She's living in Vermont, so I think she's good. Like, I don't think she needs to come back to Riverdale to begin with. But anyway, I just think that like he's acting like this like saint, or like this freaking like person who like needs to like do this whole like martyr moment and like put him like literally chain himself to a property to make a point. Like, why are you so like
he's literally done this the entire 2 seasons that we've been with him. Yeah. Like since the movie theater, he's been doing this.
And like I get it. At the end of the day, like I guess like when you look at the Riverdale world, like Jughead is supposed to be like the crux of all of Riverdale, but really I feel like he's like really inserting himself where he shouldn't need to insert himself. Like he's getting in people's business for no reason. He took that whole entire like native storyline as his own. Yeah. Like, why are you putting yourself in everyone's business? Just sit down and go to school. Like, what is so wrong with that? Like, he's so against going to school. I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Like, assimilate like all of your other friends are literally doing.
So not only are we over Jughead, but Archie's over Jughead too.
Yes.
And that cuts to the next scene, right? Where...
Right, and so then it cuts to a moment, and the Andrews res at the Andrews res, and like the family's having dinner together. Archie's like sitting down with his mom and his dad, and Archie's like basically ranting to his parents about how Jughead's being so stupid, and like
what's he even fighting for? Like there's no purpose. He's not going to win.
He calls him like delusional.
Yeah.
And it's all the like, and he's basically reiterating the things that Hiram basically said to him earlier on the episode, was where he was like, yeah, your friend's delusional. And like now Archie's kind of getting poisoned with that kind of information where he's like, true, my friend is crazy. So basically he goes off, and Molly, I want to call her Molly. What's her real name?
Me too. Mary.
So close to Molly.
So close.
So anyway, Mary's basically like, like, I don't know why you feel that way. And he was like, everyone's just afraid of like doing what like needs to get done, and like Hiram's the only one that's like actually putting ish to work,
doing anything.
And like Molly,
and so at
has
this point,
moment.
like at this point, he's basically throwing shade at Fred because he's like, at least Hiram is doing something and nobody else is.
Right.
And then she loses it. She
lost it. So she basically says, you best not be talking about your dad right now, because he's like, he had to work from the day one. He had to do this, and this.
Yeah. He's like, this man has worked in this town since he was 16 on his own. He puts food in your mouth. He puts food on the table. Yeah. He like owns this house, and he's not a criminal at the same time. Yeah. I was like, oh my god.
I was like, damn, come through, Molly Ringwald.
Yeah, like, she really like came in hard, and I was so happy she said that, because he needed to get slapped in the face. Like he was being really annoying.
Just goes to show, like, Mary Andrews has no backbone, because she was like, I will not have it, and she like ran away from her own son.
It's true. Yeah, you're right. You're
like,
right.
Wouldn't Archie have been the one to like walk away from his mom?
Yeah.
Like, come on, girl. Like, step it up. Like, you're already there.
You know what?
You might as well I'll just be like, sit the fuck down and listen to your dad.
Yeah,
you know?
It's interesting what she says at the end, because I feel like my parents would never say this, but she was like, you have every right to believe in whatever you want to believe in. If you want to believe in Hiram, that's fine, but don't be saying it in front of my face, in front of your dad. And I was like, true.
It's like disrespectful. It's just
it's
like
so disrespectful. Yeah,
and like that's the thing, like finally she gets to be a mom for the first time ever,
for the first time. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But
like,
I think
she wasn't even around when like Archie, like fucking Frank got shot in the first place. Like she came through so hard for Archie in this episode though. Like I think he needed her. You need to hear
100% for sure.
It was,
but
really
it doesn't seem like he really takes her advice at the end.
And like her acting was on point too. I was like, you know how we were like iffy about her acting? Like, she came through this episode for sure. Anyway, good job, Molly Ringwald. And then it cuts to the Cooper residence, and essentially like also like Betty's doing her homework, and then she's like, so Betty, are you like at least like having safe sex? Like, are you at least using a condom?
She's like, yeah, mom, obviously.
Like, obviously, stop talking about it. Give me back my wig.
Alice is like, she's like, I need my wig back. And then Alice is like, oh, thank God.
She keeps pushing the idea of like, you guys need to be safe and this and this. Like she says the Jones men are very alluring. And then Betty's like, oh my God, mom, did you fuck FP or what?
No, I don't think she doesn't say that, but she was like, mom, like, it does that mean FP is chicks, like chick is like FPs?
Well, first she says like, is like, did you and FP? And like Alice is like, well, and then she like goes on to say like, but does that mean that chick is like your guys' illegitimate child?
And then Alice is like, no.
So she says it. So okay, we got to break this ish down like real quick, because we can talk about it for hours. But did you believe her in that moment? Just
I
like
did
right off the
believe
top,
her.
what did you feel?
I did.
So did I. So that's what I feel too. Like I just feel like she like adamant. It was so adamant against it.
It was very quick. It was a very quick. No, it's not his kid.
Like if she was lying, she's a good liar, because like she really didn't like she like like pushed that out of her memory completely, and her reaction like even further leads me to believe that, you know, like, and even what she says about like the FP, she's like, they're our family, and like, you know, they're like a part of us now. I really feel like he came through for her for something. Maybe he isn't Chick's dad, but maybe he knows who Chick's dad is, and maybe he like helped her. Like I really feel like she was either attacked or like something happened and like FP was involved, but maybe Chick isn't his dad, because I feel like that would have happened already. Like I feel like that's the thing that always gets me, is like I feel like if FP was like Chick's dad, then that means that like Alice, or like even like,
Alice doesn't know that it's FP's kid. Do you know what I mean?
But why wouldn't she have?
Because maybe something else happened, and so she always assumed that like this kid was from that person. Right. But like actually, like when they do a DNA test with the Jones like DNA, they'll find out that he's like the dad.
I feel like that's really far reaching, but like,
it
at
might
the same
happen.
time, like,
because at the same time, Chick still has to be like someone's. Do you know what I mean? Like I guess he is Alice's, but I feel like if he's gonna stay for the long run in the show, he needs to have like a second tie to the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like his dad can't just be like a rando. Like it has to be someone in the show, I think.
It's true. I don't know. I guess we'll see how the rest of the season unfolds, but I really don't know how they're all going to tie it all together, because it's really right now very all up in the air. So many theories, so many phallus theories.
And like they keep lying to us and saying that there's going to be a phallus scene, and there's like nothing.
We're so angry about it. So anyway, she says, but she does make a good point. She says regardless of what happened, Chick is still like this hurt child. She's
like, I know he's weird. I know he's crazy.
He's still my child. Like it doesn't matter who his dad is. Like it just matters that like he's my kid, and I've been like, now I'm here for him, and he needs our love. Like period statement. And so I thought that was she has really real moments like so often that I feel like I understand where she's coming in for, and that's why I feel like she isn't lying to Betty at this point in time.
Yeah.
Then it cuts to the hospital, and Cheryl's watching over Nana Blossom, and so then she decides to go talk to the doctor, and the doctor's like, listen, we found some like weird poisonous like root in her system, but your mom and uncle said that like that's normal, because she usually like she's like dementia, and she like sometimes like chews on roots. Like I don't know what happens. Like what kind of bullshit story they told her. And so then like, and obviously like this guy doesn't even question it, like,
and like,
one
why
bit.
is he talking to a 16-year-old girl? Like,
He's like, here's your entire grandma's like medical history right now, like I'm gonna tell you in the hallway, like not even confidentially. And so then Penelope at that moment like walks up and she's like, come Cheryl, you're just a little tired, let's just go sleep now. And so then she takes Cheryl away and Cheryl's like, okay, bye. And like in this moment I wrote down like, what happened to the Cheryl in season 2, episode 1, where she was like, Mom, things are going to be different. And she was
well,
gonna, like,
her mom was like KO'd at that time too.
Right. But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, we had this whole writing moment where like the writers like made her like all brucked up and burnt up and stuff. And then suddenly within like the 4th episode, Penelope was like a hoe, and she was like turning
ruthless,
tricks and stuff, and like being super like even worse to Cheryl. And I'm like, what was that whole moment for if it wasn't for, you know, like trying to have Cheryl have something over her mom, you know what I mean? Like, because I think she does say like, oh, I'll tell everybody what happened, like what really happened in the barn, right? Like that was the whole gag. But she doesn't even use that against her in these moments.
Honestly, I don't even know what's happening with that whole story.
I really understand.
And Penelope's just really pissing me off. Like, I don't understand.
Because she's a total beat right now.
This is going like really weird. Like
I don't understand what's going on. So anyway, so then it cuts to the Cooperez, and Betty and Chick have a basic.
Yeah,
like,
she
the
basically
final
like wants to
showdown.
make peace with like Chick.
Right. And he kind of turns it back around on her, and he's like, listen, you can't push me out because well, she says like, I can always push you out if you ever like try something with me. And he was like, actually, like I think that like you're the one in trouble because you're the one that has the DNA everywhere, you're the one that has the fingerprints, because I didn't touch shit when you had to guys carry that body away. So like I kind of have you unlocked down, so you best not try shit with me. So he flips it completely all the way around on Betty and is like, you're the one that's scaring me. You're the one that's making me feel uncomfortable. So you best like check yourself. Then it cuts to Penelope and Cheryl. Oh God. And then it cuts to her like basically, so once again, this is the part that like I never understand is like, why doesn't Cheryl keep this shit to herself? She turns to her mom while her mom's driving home, and she's like, I think I understand the whole situation. She's like, so you tried to paralyze Nana and then you push her down the stairs, right? And then obviously, like, sure enough, Penelope's like, you're going crazy.
She's like, we're going to get off at the road here.
Like, we're going to turn right here at the mental institute. She's like, you've gone a little crazy. You leave us no choice. We're going to have to make this all better by like doing something. And Cheryl's like freaking the fuck out, as she should, because she shouldn't have said what she said.
Right.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, why? Anyway, this poor girl is like helpless.
Yeah, it's just a storyline.
So anyway,
I don't know. This whole scenario is very unrealistic, and it's very exaggerated. I feel like why is a mom really doing this to her kid? Like
they took it to a very dark place.
It's very dark. Yeah, it's very dark.
Anyway, so then it cuts to Hiram and Archie. And it's funny that we were just mentioning Hiram not being able to beat up like little boys, because essentially he says, I can't go after these guys because we need to like get them off of this property. So I'm going to have to get you to do it for me and get like your boys at the wrestling team to like fight with them and like get this done. Right.
And Archie's like, no, I'm not doing that.
And then he's like, well, you made a promise because we made a blood oath last episode. Right. And, you know, like now we're like brothers, and like there's going to be consequences if you don't do something about it. And Archie's like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And then he with a caveat of like, you better release my dad out of his contract first. So what do you think about the fact that like, even though Archie's kind of taking a dark path, he's also like trying to play
like, yeah, I understood
Hiram.
What he was doing. He was trying to play him. But at the same time, like, Archie is losing way more than what Hiram is losing. Of course he's losing
way more,
so,
but at
like,
least he's getting something out of it at this point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know like where this is going to lead, but at the same time, I'm just like, at least Archie's like not just like becoming a stupid bitch boy. Like, he's at least like trying to get something fixed or resolved on his dad's side, you know? Like, he's trying to play a double agent, but like he's really bad at it. So he's just like trying to do what he can. So then it cuts to the South Side High, and it's like this slow motion dramatic moment of basically him and like all the wrestling team walking through with like chain cutters, and him and Jughead kind of have a face off.
It was really emotional because I felt like it was really the end of their friendship.
Really?
You know, like cutting off the chain. Yeah, for sure. Cutting off the chains, and just the way that the whole scene was even framed. Like,
right.
He's cutting off his chains, and he's like, I'm cutting the tie almost
in
of
that
like
particular
our
moment,
friendship.
In that particular moment, like, how do you see them coming back from this?
I don't know.
Because
I don't see them. I don't see them coming back for like this season, maybe.
Right. So they're just gonna keep fighting with each other.
And I'd kind of be down for that. Yeah, I mean, like what Archie did was really messed up. Like that's like walking up to your friend who is really passionate about something, who's standing up for something, and literally cutting it down. True. Like, did you have to do that? Like, did you have to be the one that's gonna do that? It was really messed up.
That's fair.
It was really rude.
So then it cuts to so basically Jughead's like, I'm not even gonna fight you on this. Like, just so you know,
I wish he said something like at the end, like Jughead. I wish he was like, "We're done now," or something.
Like, I'm disappointed in you or something.
Yeah, like something. Like he kind of just looked at him, but I was like, "Say it, like say like we're done."
I feel like that would be a little bit too melodramatic.
Maybe,
and I think,
maybe.
once it's said, then like we're gonna have to like hear about it like in a season from now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like if they just look at each other, then they can like deal with their like masculine strife for a little bit longer without having to like say anything properly. You know. So anyway, he just kind of walks away from it. The rest of the Southside boys like dip, and then it cuts to, or he say like, we're not going away. Like he's like, this isn't going away.
Who knows? That's
what he says. I think he does say like, this situation isn't over, but he doesn't say like, we're not.
It's over. Never over, Jughead. It's your storyline.
I can't stop fighting for no reason. Then it cuts to Jughead, and he's being taken care of by Betty at the trailer, and he's like, was I too extreme in that moment? Like, was it too extra for me to like do all this stuff? And she's like, no, you're fine. It was totally fine. It was totally normal. And so that's essentially that part. And then he was like, you know what? I feel like I'm feeling like out of control of everything. I already lost Southside. I don't want to lose Riverdale. I think I'm going to run for student council. And he's like, I'd like you to be my co-president.
And she's like, yeah, I'm down.
She's like, cool.
Because I guess at that point she already left like Veronica. So she's like, yeah, I don't have a friend anymore.
Right.
So it's just you and me, boo.
And then she was like, the only thing is you have to like let me stay at the trailer with you. Because
she's like, the only thing is I have to live with you.
Like, basically, we're just going to have sex every single day. Is that okay? Cool.
So at that moment, I was like, OMG.
She's going to have a baby.
Yeah.
Is that what you thought?
100%. I was like, she's going to, yeah, 100%.
Oh my God. No,
just
that's too
right.
much. That's too soon.
Right after,
too
not
soon.
like, maybe not like right away, but like right when like Alice said that, or like maybe she's not going to get pregnant, but she's going to have like a pregnancy scare maybe.
But
because like right after the whole like phallus thing or like the Alice thing, I feel like that's what's going to happen.
Alice thing. Yeah, it's true. That's fair. I don't know. I just feel like
because like why else would that
storyline
storyline be in it? Like I live with you now?
I agree.
You know, like it's very random.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, we'll see. So then it cuts to the Andrews residence, and like sure enough, in the same vein, Fred is like, you know what? I'm so excited because like now I've been released from my contract, and like Archie, I guess, can't like tell his dad like he was the one that helped do it, but like the mom is like, yeah, I'm so lit right now because like your dad is now gonna run for mayor against Hermione. So like we already saw that coming. So
sexual tension.
So much sexual tension. And then it cuts to Toni, and she checks in at the Blossom Res.
Yeah.
And Penelope's like, she ain't home no more. She went to boarding school.
And Tony's like, that doesn't make any sense. Like she did not even tell me that.
And then she was like, well, she's not here and she's not coming back, so don't ever show up here ever again or I'll kill you.
Like, what the hell?
She got so extreme, but it's like typical Penelope. And then it gets to the most random moment of the entire episode where is it the same like Saint whatever?
I think it is.
Like
that woman looked very familiar.
She looked familiar.
Yeah.
So it cuts to like the mental institute or like the place that like Polly was too. And
like, you know,
Cheryl,
like when you're in pigtails, like that's when like you're losing it. So Cheryl's in pigtails.
She's in pigtails.
And she's like crying.
And she's crying like in
which
a corner
is normal because she's just got like trapped by her mom.
Yeah. And the woman's like, we're gonna take care of you by tomorrow, but today, like, conversion therapy starts like tomorrow. Essentially, she's gonna she's turning her like
really messed up.
Guys,
really
we just
messed
got a
up.
conversion therapy storyline in Riverdale season 2. Like, what the fuck
like
is
what
happening?
the F?
Like, this show just got really, really dark. So
and then
anyway,
that's how it ends.
that's the end of the episode. Before we get into our recap roundups, I just want to talk to some of the comments that we got from some of our rewinders. So first we got at Crafty Katie saying, I'm pretty sure Alice is lying to Betty, LOL, but it would be kind of weird to know before the father did. Wow at Veronica and the milkshake and Reggie, and WTF poor Cheryl. So that was a lot in 140 characters, but thanks for like replying to the episode. I agree with.
Yeah, I definitely think like, I don't know if Alice was lying, but I feel like she might know a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Maybe she doesn't know like who the dad really is. I don't know. There's definitely something that happened that night. Prom night, something happened. Like, that's what I'm thinking is what's gonna happen, and I hope we get a freaking flashback, because that would be amazing.
Flashback for real.
Because I definitely think prom night is when something happened.
Yeah, it's true. I want to read this last tweet we got from at Glimmerazzi. She says, thoughts on tonight's Riverdale, Molly Ringwald back blowing me away like her 16 candles. Ethel comes searching for her relevance in this episode. Needs to leave her dramatics for Carrie the musical. CHONI like KFC, finger licking good. Hashtag free Cheryl. That's an amazing tweet. Thanks so much for writing in. But yeah, I thought like, yeah, totally. Like, I agreed on all fronts. It was a good episode for sure.
It was really good. It was just really jam packed, right? Yeah. Like, everything was in this episode.
Even just reading that tweet, I was like, true, Ethel was in it.
Like, that all
CHONI was in it.
Yeah.
Like, so many things happened. Anyway, let's get into recap roundups.
Recap roundups. Best moment.
My best moment had to be the almost CHONI kiss. I think I was like really feeling the moment. I was feeling like what they were talking about. And then like, of course, like the crash happened. So like, it's like my best, but also like, like anticlimactic moment. But I like the way they set it up. I really like the way they set it up.
Yeah, it was a really, I loved it.
To everything else in the episode, like, it was like a feel-good moment. So I was like, best moment.
I think my best moment was the ending where Jughead and Archie just have this whole moment. True. Because it really did make me feel some type of way. I really felt really sad, and there was a lot of close-ups on like Archie's face. I'm like, bro, what are you doing right now though? Like, this is your friend who's like looking at
Archie,
you, and
like, what are you doing?
And you can just see the disappointment in Jughead's face, like when he actually cut it, and like Archie walked away to do like the next guy. I was like Jughead's face was like, wow, I can't believe he actually did it.
I can't believe he did my life.
Like, for a scene to really hit you that hard, I liked it. Yeah, it was a good moment.
WTF moment.
WTF moment, I think, was the whole Cheryl thing. I was like, what is she doing to her daughter?
What?
Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen? Like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, there's needles involved. Like, what?
Yeah, I just wasn't feeling it. It was too like American Horror Story season 2.
It was so American Horror Story. Yeah,
I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah,
I was like, this is too much. But yeah, that was also my WTF moment, because I just thought it was like, it came out of nowhere. But also like, we kind of gleaned that like there was like, I kind of felt like there was a potential of that happening, because she kept saying like, this is depraved behavior and this is wrong, and like, I was like, it could get to that point, or like it could get to like some uber religious point.
I don't know.
Sure
it's just getting very
went
dark.
The other way. So yeah, I don't know.
MVP.
My MVP, I think, is gonna go to Betty, because I think that she is just on point with Chick. She didn't let it go. And she's been like diligent with it. Yeah, she's crazy. It's fine.
Yeah,
I still love her, and she did a great job. And I don't know. I support her. Yeah,
that's fair. I don't know. I felt like she was a little extra this episode, but anyway, my MVP, actually, speaking of Ethel Mugs, I kind of gave it to Ethel Mugs, because like, this girl came out of literally nowhere. Okay, number one, she came out of
nowhere.
But at the same time, she came out of nowhere, told Veronica what's good, and on top of that, she basically orchestrated an entire like fight back between her and Josie, and like she came through and like spread out like little like flyers and stuff. Like, she came in for Veronica. Veronica did not even see that coming, okay?
It's cause what happened to Ethel happened so long ago too. It's like, yo girl, like you were still upset this whole time.
You were
like, damn, like where were you this whole time? Like you were like lurking and like evil planning, like.
But she came in real hard. Like,
she did. That's what I'm saying. Like she came. She had a plan, dude. Like she photocopied all those things.
And she like got like Josie to like pretend to like sing with her
exactly.
and then do it. Like,
exactly.
That's some diabolical shit, Ethel Mugs. Like fuck. Plus like her name is Ethel Mugs. Like we have to remember that.
Exactly.
Like, for someone to come through that hard with that name, it's like damn.
LVP.
My LVP is gonna go to Kevin. Because I was really disappointed in the way he handled that situation. Yeah, that was really rude of him. Like he could have definitely handled it like way better. And also I feel like again he was like extra. Like he was just the character like taking video of everyone.
Once
I was
again,
I don't know. You're just like LVP
to
for
him
me.
Being like Gossip Girl, and I'm like, what?
It seemed like everyone else had a storyline. Like even Josie, this episode had a storyline. Like and he's just kind of left with like potential maybe love interest with Chick.
Right.
Potential maybe. Who knows? But like that's not really like.
Are you down for that happening?
Yeah.
Possibly?
Why not?
My LVP has to go to like the whole South Side like teenagers and Jughead. They like literally dipped in the middle of the night. They're like, yo, I can't stay, but we'll come back later. And then they came back and like Jughead was still there.
The best line.
My best line is the line that Veronica says to her mom when she's kind of like in her breakdown, and she's like, maybe if I'm their president, they'll stop looking at me like I'm the daughter of criminals. And I think it was like one of the first times in a long time where like she's really opened up, been emotional, and like I actually believed it. You know what I mean?
Right. My best line is a little bit of two. It's like two kind of mixed into one because I feel like they've paralleled each other pretty well. So first it's Hiram saying to Archie, so this is him talking to Archie about like Jughead like trying to do this whole like thing, this protest, and he says, I live in the real world, I see what needs to get done and I do it. I think that you do too, Archie. So he's trying to persuade basically Archie, saying like, I get shit done of the way it needs to get done. Then in comparison, in contrast to that, Mary, when she has that big blow up with Archie, she says, you're like, I can't believe you're disrespecting your dad, a man who broke rocks just to help support his family, a man who saw what had to be done and did it. So like essentially they're saying the same thing, but like at this point in time, literally Archie's seeing like a good side and a bad side. Like Mary's saying like Hiram is an evil person, you know what I mean? But at the same time, Hiram's like, I'm the one that's getting shit done. Like, no one else is doing stuff. And Molly on the other side is like, no, but your dad knows how to get stuff done. He's just not a crook like fucking Hiram is.
Which is true.
So, like, it's like really making this
It's
clear.
interesting because looking at Archie's face when Fred at the end says he's running for mayor, like, Archie doesn't really look excited because he knows that he's screwed. He's going to be now stuck in, like, this in between where like,
I mean, I feel like he's felt in between this whole time.
Yeah, but now Fred's actually doing something about it. Like Fred's actually gonna literally like change the city.
He's like, oh damn, so, my dad's off the painkillers. Like, what do I do now?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, that was an episode. Damn.
It was intense. Yeah, it was a lot.
And even for Recap Rewind. So thanks for sticking with us in all the way through. That's pretty much it, guys. If you like what you guys heard, please make sure that, or if you didn't, make sure that you guys comment and let us know what you guys think about the episode. Make sure you guys stay connected to Recap Rewind through Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at recap_rewind, and just search for Recap Rewind on Facebook and YouTube and basically everything else. And
you got
iTunes. We on iTunes. Make sure that you guys like and comment and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And that's it.
That's shit, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.